Hello, I'd like to share with you today out of Psalm 42. This psalm has become very close to my heart because of the experience that the writer tells of. And I think throughout the Psalms there are many experiences, extremely varied and colorful, of people of faith relating to God and struggling to walk in faith and struggling to overcome difficulties. On the other end of the spectrum, some of the Psalms, they're rejoicing in their victories or the joy of being with God or whatever. And in Psalm 42, let's just read a part of it and then we'll look at some of the sections. As the deer pants for the water brooks, so pants my soul for you, O God. My soul thirsts for God, for the living God. When shall I come and appear before God? My tears have been my food day and night, while they say continually to me, where is your God? When I remember these things, I pour out my soul within me, for I used to go with the multitude. I went with them to the house of God, with a voice of joy and praise, with a multitude that kept pilgrim feast. Why are you cast down, O my soul? And why are you disquieted within me? Hope in God, for I shall yet praise him for the help of his countenance. At the beginning of this psalm, there's a wonderful picture, and that's one of the things I love about a lot of the psalms, is that it uses many times nature pictures. And at the beginning of the psalm, the writer says, I'm like a deer that is running through the woods, so thirsty. If I could just find one little brook, that would fix me up, but I can't find it. And then in his spiritual life, he's asking himself, when am I going to appear before God? Because who wrote this psalm, I believe this is a psalm of David, and when he wrote it, he was feeling that distance, which I'm sure many of you have experienced, where you just feel like God is so far out of reach, so removed from your life, and you're like this little tiny deer running through the woods just trying to find a little creek or something. So one of the things that was going on that brought the writer to this point of emotional experience was there were people near him asking him, well, where's your God? I haven't seen him show up. I haven't seen him do anything lately. Where, you talk about God, but where is he? So he says when he remembers how he used to go and keep festival with a multitude of God's people, and that they would all worship together and enjoy the presence of God together, and that's a thing that's now in his past. And so there's a tinge of grief there that he remembers that, and now he's in this lonely place and this hard place, and so he pours out his soul before God and he asks God, where are you? When do I get to appear before you? In verse 5, he asks the question, why are you cast down, O my soul? And why are you disquieted within me? Hope in God, for I shall yet praise him for the help of his countenance. His countenance means that he's close and we're talking, we're fellowshipping. And that's when the praise just naturally comes out of me, because I've been in the presence of God. If you've ever experienced this kind of thing, where your soul feels cast down and you feel like you just can't scrape yourself back up, but you believe in God and you know that he's real, this is a wonderful psalm to revisit. And I want you to notice what happens as the thing progresses. Verse 6, oh my God, my soul is cast down within me. See, now he's not talking to himself. He's taking that same conversation. He's actually talking to God. First he was asking himself, hey soul, why are you cast down? But in verse 6, he turns it to God and says, oh my God, my soul is cast down within me. Therefore, he's making a decision here. Therefore, I will remember you. And he's got a specific memory that he's going to bring up. I will remember you from the land of Jordan, and from the heights of Hermon, and from the Hill Mizar. And when I looked these up, I found out that David at the Jordan had experienced a very special a strategic military victory that God had put into his hands. And so he's bringing that memory back up because that was a time when God intervened for him in a very specific way, and it was really crucial. So he brings that memory back up, and also from the land of Jordan and the heights of Hermon, these and the Hill Mizar, these are places where the headwaters of the Jordan River originate, and where what starts off as just a little bit of rain falling, making little bitty brooks, turns out to feed eventually what is the Jordan River. I think it's, in a poetic way, the memories, bringing back the memories of what God has done for you, that's like going back to where the rain falls to begin to fill up the creeks. This is what he's looking for at the first of the psalm, just a little brook to drink out of, just a little bit of the presence of God would fix me up. And so he's revisiting these memories, and they're representative geographically of the headwaters of the Jordan. And now those memories begin to fill his soul. And then it says in verse 7 that deep calls unto deep at the noise of your waterfalls. It brings a picture of a waterfall, and at the top of the waterfall is a deep pool, and at the bottom of the waterfall there's a deep pool. There's a lot of water involved, okay? And this guy started out saying, where's God? Where's the living God? When do I get to appear before God? I'm looking for a little brook. Okay, I'm making a decision. I'm going to revisit the memories of when God has helped me in the past. And now, a little by little, I come to this place where I'm just under the waterfall, and God is just pouring his presence on me. And you know, when a waterfall hits and it's in the same place for many years, it tends to dig out a very deep pool right there at the bottom of the waterfall. And when you bring yourself back to thank God for the things that he's done for you in the past, and to recall those things and how he did those things and where he has intervened for you in times past, it places you not just at a little skinny brook, it places you underneath a great waterfall of his presence. And it's just, it can change things even when you're still in that lonely place, in a place where all the people around you are saying, where is your God? You know what? You just need to fellowship with him. Remember him. Remember what he's done for you. And it may not change your present difficulties right away, but it will bring you into his presence in a powerful way. At the end of verse 7, it says, all of your waves and billows have gone over me. And then verse 8, where it changes, the Lord will command his loving kindness in the daytime, and in the night his song shall be with me, a prayer to the God of my life. One night when I was alone and woke up scared, God led me to this verse, and it's been a real mainstay for me, because God doesn't change and his presence doesn't change, but my contact with him changes from hour to hour, day to day. But the joy of it is that I can always place myself a little closer to him just by holding his goodness in my memory. Again, the psalmist asks himself, you know, I will say to God, my rock, why have you forgotten me? And about all the trouble that he has, but he ends the psalm in verse 11, why are you cast down, O my soul? And why are you disquieted within me? Hope in God. Now he's talking to himself again. Talk about some self-talk. This is, you know, the old-fashioned kind back in the Psalms. He asks his own soul, why are you disquieted within me? You know, that feeling of being disquieted? Hope in God. So it's a decision that we can make as many times as we need to hope in God, and I will yet praise him because he will be present. God bless you.
Some days I forget that I'm free, and sometimes My feet don't wanna carry me.